Okay, good afternoon, gents. Hope everyone's had a relaxing weekend. Happy Labour Day to you US guys, which I think is probably most of you, actually, with the except, actually, probably not, actually. Brooke, you're from the UK, you're from South Africa, so probably only one or two of you. But there you go anyway. So I don't know whether anybody saw the video I put out last night. I thought I'd just put people in the picture. I wanted to try and be honest with this stream. It's good to see other people's problems and struggles and the things they learn, and hopefully that might sort of ring a bell with you. It may help you. It certainly helps me talking about them. Sometimes you've got to address these problems and sort of deal with them head on. But as you know, as most of you know, I blew those 4 accounts. I got awfully close to a pay date, and the problem has been since I started streaming, with the exception of the first sort of month or two, I gave up work and traded full time. And the trouble is, because I've been relying on the money that I've been taking out as wages, I haven't had enough time to build a suitable cushion in my account. So what I've decided to do is go back to work Friday, Saturday, Sundays. It's how I initially changed over to work. Initially, I worked Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, but I'll change over to Friday, Saturday, Sunday. That'll give me enough of an income so I don't need to worry about money, and I can allow the accounts to grow in size until they get to a point where there's enough of a cushion that I can start taking a small monthly payment from each of them. You saw it, commented on it. Yeah, I think you did, didn't you? I did answer all the comments. But it's a tough business, and it takes time, and there's lots of ups and downs, and this is just one of the hurdles I've had. Now, I've had a good think over the last few days, and I've looked back, and I can build accounts. I've managed to build accounts before, so I can do them. I'm confident I've got enough skills now to be able to build accounts. Obviously, I'm still making mistakes and I'm still learning, but I'm aiming in the right direction. The accounts grow, but because I've been taking money out of them, I haven't given them enough time to mature and to build a sort of buffer zone, if you like. So whether that zone 6,000, 8,000, 10,000, it's all individual. But I think what you want to do, ideally, I think after a payment of $2,000, I think I would want at least $5,000 per account left. And then just trade them for the next month, and then hopefully by the end of the following month I'll have built another 2,000 on top, which I can take again. I don't think $500 per week is an unachievable amount. I think it's only the equivalent of 2.5 winning trades a week, so it's not a lot, and that's around about $500 a week, which will give you 2,000 a month. Now, if you use that 2,000 a month as your wages per account, obviously depending on how many accounts you got, depends on how much you earn, but at least that way you've always left yourself with 5,000 in their minimum. And let's say you have a bad month and you only earn half of that, you can withdraw $1,000 or $500 per account or whatever you want to do. So that's the plan anyway. But I've identified where I'm going wrong, and that's part of the problem. We've all heard the saying, if the definition of insanity is to do the same thing every day expecting a different outcome. So you've got to make a change. And the one thing that keeps coming up with me is I've built 4 accounts now where I've taken 4 lots of money out. Three lots of $2,000 and a $4,000, but I've always left myself a little bit short. I think sometimes when you build an account and you manage to get some money, you don't care about the accounts, you just want to get money, don't you? Because it's the first time you earn money, it's kind of a nice feeling, and you don't think about the bigger picture. So I think it's probably common that people do snap up whatever money they can initially, but then you leave in your account a little bit vulnerable. So that's the new plan anyway. I'm going to trade these 2 evaluations, and build these up over the coming months, and then I think by going back to work will encourage me to work harder. If I got to get up early in the morning, go out and work all day, then you start to think, hold on a minute, I kind of like what I was doing. So there you go. So, okay, so I got two options here. I can block out the comments or I can disable the comments. Now, the trouble is, if you disable the comments, because sometimes you'll always get some, now it's very few, you'll always get some idiot saying some stupid stuff. You can't do this, you can't, you know what I mean? And sometimes if you read them, it can't help but knock your confidence a bit. So I think I'm better off just to disable the comments. I'll keep them on initially for the first sort of 10 or 15 minutes, just so we can say our hellos and, you know, any questions, and, you know, we can just have a quick chit chat. And then I'll disable them maybe just for the trading period, and then just get them open them up for the last sort of 20 minutes again. So we can all sort of have a chat, find out who's done what and that. But I think it genuinely helps you to focus, really. And I've been sort of, you know, if people are saying stuff, you tend to not be focusing properly. But I think it's good for all of us. So market has just officially opened. I respect day transfer. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. Sometimes I think it's better to be honest with people. And not only that, you've got to be honest with yourself most of all. And sometimes you kid yourself, really. You try and make out you've got it and you're making all the right decisions, when sometimes you've got to be honest with yourself and say, okay, I'm struggling here. What do I do to fix it? So the simple answer comes up every time now. I've managed to build 4 accounts, so I can't do it. You know, I still make mistakes, and I'm still going to make mistakes, and I'm still learning day by day. But I tend to categorize myself just at the start of the intermediate level. So I've got enough skills to be able to make money, but I still make schoolboy errors from time to time, you know, and I'm still learning vital lessons every day. So I think I'm in a good place now, but obviously I need to take that you know, that stress. When I was coming to close to those 4 accounts before I blew them, I felt the pressure because I needed the money. Now, if I'd have had $10,000 in each of them, I wouldn't have had to be worried about it, because there's plenty enough in there. So that's the key. Go back to work Friday. So I'll be streaming as normal Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday. And I'll just be working Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So that way I'm only losing a day of trading. So, okay. So let's see what sort of day we're going to have now. So far, we're going a bit slow. It's a little bit unpredictable whether we're actually starting to work up or not. I don't know yet. It's a bit early. There is a possibility of something. So I hope you all had a nice, relaxing weekend. Obviously, it's a bigger deal, Labor Day for you US guys. But I think that is it, holiday-wise. I do have the printout, the CME Group printout. That is it, really, till Thanksgiving, 22nd to the 24th of November. And then the one after that is Christmas. Another year's gone by already. So there you go. So my daughter's birthday today. She's 15 today, so I may have a short day. I may do an hour and a half, 2 hours or something like that. We'll see how we get on. So I'm going to disable the comments just temporarily while we have our sort of trading, and then I'll bring them back on, because it does help. If it helps me, you know, it'll help you guys. So make sure we've said hello to anyone. Chris, how you doing? We said hello to Brick, said hello to What? Growl Daddy, NC, Rodian, Indy. How you doing, Indy? Chris, Brick, Alex. Excellent. Okay, so I wish you all luck, bit of luck. Hopefully we get some setups. And I'll put the messages back on for about the last sort of 15-20 minutes. Okay, let me see if I can figure out how to disable them again. So good luck. Okay, customize. Beautiful. So I hope you have a good, I hope we get some good. Let's have a look. Live chat. I think that's right. Okay, so good luck, and we'll chat soon. There we go. Excellent. Okay, I'm going to chit chat as normal. You know me. I do like the sound of my own voice. Some people say. Okay, that's what I had to change. Just got something down here which is wrong. It's not 80% off resets. It's 80% off all evaluations. So that's something I had to change. Let's have a look. Not that one. That's the puppy. So I'm just going to change this quickly. Off all. Beautiful. Okay. Discount code super duper. Excellent. There we go. That's sorted out now. Somebody pointed out I got it 80% off all resets. So now this discount goes on until the 12th. Now, we'll have to keep an eye on that. I'm not sure what Apex are doing there. Leg down. Because I'm surprised we waited nearly 3 weeks to have that discount. So I don't know what's going to go on after that, whether we're going to go back to the 50% off resets. But something tells me they're not being as generous as usual. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. So make the most of that 80% off. It finishes on the 12th, midnight on the 12th. So you've still got another week. Okay, so no, nothing in the way of setups. It's hard to know what we're doing at the moment. We just seem to be going sideways. Let's just pop that there a minute. Oh. Now, what I'm going to do is trade like I did when I started. Most of the time, in areas like this, I'll be going for the normal 2 points. But if we get a leg up, 2 legs of correction, and I think we're going to get another good push up, or we end up going into a real strong uptrend or downtrend, what I may do is extend my take profit and then move my stop up and secure profits, because sometimes if we've got a massive big uptrend, you know, something going on like this, and we get a really nice 2 legs back to the key entry point, a beautiful bar, it seems a shame to get 2 points when the chances are we're going to push up. And then what I'll do is wait for each swing, and maybe as the market goes up, I'll pop it under each swing, something like that anyway. But I'm only going to do that if I genuinely believe we have a leg up, 2 legs of correction, and I think we're going to get another leg up with a good setup. So I'm just going to remove that at the moment, and I'm going to bring this down to there. Okay, with the exception of where the market opened there, we're clearly respecting this line. I didn't want to put a, I mean, we've only really touched once down here, so I didn't really want to put a range around that lot. So we're starting down here on a channel. Let's see what we do at this midline, because we got just below it and it rejected. So I've decided to get rid of the 1,000 tick chart and bookmap as well. I just find them a bit of a distraction. I think I need to focus on this one chart. Yeah, you might not get as many setups, but I believe there's maybe some more sort of fake outs or a little bit more noise on the 1,000 tick chart. I don't suppose it's terrible if you trade in the one chart, but trading the two, it can get a little bit confusing. So we'll just stick to the 2,000 tick chart, and I've got rid of bookmap as well. I only really find bookmap helps if we're in a really strong trend, and it just gives you an indication where, you know, strong orders are further up. But I've got rid of it anyway, so we just concentrate on the one chart. So warm in the UK today. We've got around about 30 degrees centigrade in parts. We've had a real awful summer, to be honest with you. It's been absolutely diabolical, but this week, funnily enough, it's absolutely beautiful and bright. So I know you go 1,000, 1,500 miles south and they've had blistering hot temperatures, but the UK, we've struggled to get over about 23 degrees centigrade in the last 6 weeks. So it's been a bit appalling. So it's kind of nice to have some warmer weather. So clearly respecting that top, you can see that. With the exception of this, but I'm not really too concerned with that at the moment. We seem to be working between this level and this level at the moment. We've hit that a couple of times and we've bounced off twice, so it's probably going to be working within a 2, 4, 6, 8, around about an 8.5 point range, something on the lines of that. Okay, so yeah, about 9 points, 9.25 points, something like that. Yeah, so I mean, if I was taking a trade, it'd be stupid to go for more points. So you're better off just get your 2 points and out. But if we do end up, you know, having something like that at some point, you know, sort of followed by something like that, and then you know what I'm getting at, something like that. I do see a lot of trades like that. I tend to, even if it's bullish, I tend to leave that first one and wait for a higher low. And so many, that's the best place to go, and off it goes. But if I can get something like that or a higher low and it's relatively clear what's going on, it's a shame really just to take 2 points between here and here. On those occasions, I'm going to take my profit up and I'm just going to give it a little bit of movement and then just secure under each swing and just try and get a few more points, because on days like this where you do get these nice fluid move, it's a shame really just to get 2 points. You might as well make the most of it and try and capitalise a bit. Yeah, you may lose the odd trade, but overall, if you can pick up between 6 and 10 points on these bigger moves, you'll sort of easily make up for it. And you never know, you might be lucky and get a really good move, but it's nice to try and capture some of these moves whether they're in the way of runners. The trouble is, when you're only trading 2 contracts, it doesn't really work having a runner. I think ideally with the runners, you want to be trading 4 contracts. That way you can use one as a runner, but I haven't got that luxury really, so sometimes I'm stuck with just the 1.5 or 2 points, and it's just nice to have the option to make a little bit extra. But, you know, obviously if the context's right, if we're in a very strong trend and we do get a nice second entry, I think it's worthwhile holding on and then just, you know, if we end up something like this, just maybe drop it here and then take it down to the next swing and then the next swing, and then, you know, just trying to capitalise as best I can. So it looks to me like there may be a couple of legs down. So whether you put that there or whether you put it up here, I suppose we start from here initially, don't we? So if we put it like that, take that to maybe there, somewhere around there, it's going to get us towards these lows by the looks of things. I don't think there's any type of a bigger channel there at the moment. It's possible, but it's early days yet. Really, we're looking for 3 touches, and obviously it's a bit early there. So I was chatting with another trader buddy of mine over the weekend, and he said he had the same problem. Started to make little bits of money, gave up work, but obviously every time he was hitting 2,000 or 3,000, he was taking money out, and he was just leaving. It was, you know, great to have a bit of money, but he was leaving his accounts vulnerable. But after he did it a few times, he realised that, you know, he needs an income until he can build an account. And that's the same really, unless you've got the luxury of having a nice bit of savings. I haven't really. So I think it's important to get up to, I'm thinking about these somewhere around about the $8,000 maybe. If I can get a couple of accounts up to $8,000 each, take $2,000 that way, I should always have that cushion of $6,000 in there. And then wherever I make over the next month, hopefully somewhere around about the $2,000, but then I can use that as a wage then if I can do that with 2 accounts and use those 2 accounts to get a nice small monthly wage of maybe $4,000 on both accounts. That'll give me a comfortable income from there, and then I can hopefully then continue to build some more accounts. Same again, not withdrawing anything from them, because once you start needing the money, that's when things start to get a bit stressful. And you may say, well, we're always going to need the money, which is true. But all I'm saying is, before you start to rely on that as a wage, you need to get it to enough of a cushion to obviously be able to, stand for a bad day or two and take some away. So I kind of like that $8,000. You get a bad day or a couple of bad days, it's not going to really do you much damage. And if you have got yourself a nice sort of safety cushion, then also it removes the stress as well. If you've got $2,500 in an account and you've got $10,000 in an account, you're gonna have a lot more stress with a smaller account. Okay, so we may let's see where this comes up to. We may be working on a small channel here. I do expect it to come down here, but it may not. It may, because we've touched twice here and twice here, it may just be a bit of a failed breakout. So same again. I'm not trading this. You may take that. It's quite a small risk, but what is it? It's only a point and a quarter actually. So you've certainly got 1-to-1. But I'm not really that good at picking tops and bottoms and fading these. So I'm probably staying out the way of them until I've done a few more of them and got a little bit more confidence. But that certainly worked for a couple of points. If you did decide to fade that, it's a small risk, as I mentioned. Okay, there's your 2 points. Comfortably you're out there, and it is only a small bar. Point and a quarter. So I know that was a terrible trade. If you believe this to be a range, which it looks like it's touched 4 times there. So and we have managed to push back in. So okay, leg, bit of sideways and leg. That's the trouble with these days. That just straight away we've hit 3 different levels there. Whether we're going to come down some more or that's it. We've had a failed breakout. Who knows? Okay, so we've had a bigger leg down here in the way of 2 smaller legs. Let's see what we do. If we can make a couple of attempts to go higher, that may be an option to get down the bottom somewhere. So you can see that line clearly plays a part. Twice there, once there, bounced off it there. So that's clearly playing a part, whether you call it the bottom of the range at the moment. So possible leg break and a leg, that's feasible. That bearish bar there, depending on whether you think we've had a channel down here. The trouble is, with a channel down there, it's only really touched twice. So you can't really, although it kind of looks okay. People may treat it as a channel, but usually a channel needs to hit 3 times. So I'm led to believe, and that may be a couple of legs up and down, who knows. But in all fairness, the safer option at the moment is to just leave it like that. I'll tell you what I haven't done. Reloaded my historic. That's a possibility. Trouble is, I don't know whether you want to take that. There's always the possibility if that one triggers, it could have another leg up, and it's a bit congested, really, but it kind of fits, doesn't it? But the trouble is, we've had this breakout, so you just don't know what's going to go on, what's going on there. I'd like to make another attempt. Wow, this looks different. We had a really flat top there. Wow, that does look different. My grief. Just reloading that historic data makes you realise how different things are. These are all flat here. I had a really nice flat surface there with the exception of that, if you remember. In fact, I'm sure we were around about here, weren't we? That's strange. Of course, I've got the comments off saying you probably had people shouting at the screen saying, reload your historic. Okay. Okay, so that looks like a leg down, a bit of sideways, and I'm guessing another leg down, which is probably going to take us around about here if it does continue down. I kind of like that channel, touched here, touched here, touched here. It fits quite nice, that, and it does there as well. The angle just slots right between those bars perfectly, I think. So, as the panda guy would say, but not the panda guy, the penguin guy, we've had a leg down there. Made 2 attempts to go higher. Yeah, it's only a first entry, that. It's just gone too far to call it a lower high, really, although it kind of looks like a nice bar, but I'd rather drop below and push up and give us a second entry up here. Yeah, it's only really just a first entry, that, or a high-low. High-low really just needs to be a bit, I mean, for instance, if you, I don't know, if you took that one, then that one would be your higher low. That one would be a little bit too far, but so hopefully we may get a couple of pushes up there. Let's have a look. See, you could have said one pushed it. That's a triple test, but in all fairness, did work. It's clearly congested there. That's the slight issue there. Because we've got a leg up and a break, there is a possibility we could have another leg up. Because it is a little bit choppy at the moment. I mean, it is starting to look like a nice little channel, but no matter how good a channel looks, sometimes it can just hit this area and then turn around. So it's still a little bit choppy, a little bit sideways. So I think that bar's a bit risky. But there you go. Okay, second entry short here would be nice. I'm just going to get an entry ready just
Order
in case.
submitted.
It is a little bit congested, so I prefer it to push up and give us a second entry here. It's doing that orange thing again. Oh my God, that's all we need. That's why I open my bars well out the way now. Can you see that? It's stuck again. Okay, okay, that's worked now.
Order cancelled.
Cancel it. Let's just try it again.
Order submitted.
Doing it again. I suggest if you do it, open it well out the way and just mess around like that. But if it does go orange and you can't get rid of it, shut it down there, click it, and you'll usually find that'll shut it down. But it'll still be there, so just reboot. That's what I found that works. Just hit the cross there, reboot Ninja Trader, and it'll have gone. But just check it. And if you do open an order already, just keep it well out the way up here. I mean, you know, we're 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. We're 20 odd points out the way, so you've got plenty of time to deal with it if stuff goes wrong.
Order cancelled.
Okay, so like down. There is a second entry short there, but it's stuck right in the middle of that congestion, so it's a no. It's a no-go, that. I usually, most days, certainly every couple of days, I use the Apex. You can't see it there, can you? No, I use the Apex. It's just called Apex Desktop Assistant. I downloaded that Apex, and all it does is just a quicker way of getting rid of all your cache, basically. You know, you usually go into documents, don't you? Ninja Trader, click on DB, empty. It just gets rid of all your stored cache, which sometimes slows Windows down. But that's the first thing I was told to do, empty that. And I empty it every couple of days anyway, so I don't know whose problem that is.
Order
that's doing
submitted.
that when it goes orange, but it's happening to a lot of people. So I don't know where the problem lies, whether it's a rhythmic problem or whether it's a Ninja Trader problem. I don't know.
Order cancelled.
We get rid of that one. So possible leg down and another leg down, which would get us below these levels here. Just no setup there, really. If you had taken that one as a lower high, it's a bit too far from me. It would have worked. You would have got your 2 points out. But the trouble is, if you are saying that's the top of there, it is a possibility it could go sideways, break a little bit higher than that before it comes down, if indeed it does come down. Okay, possible trap there. If you have gone along there, I'd say that's going to get stopped out. We're clearly working down at the moment, so that's not the most sensible place to go along anyway, but it's getting quite a little bit bouncy here. There's no news today, so okay. We've gone sideways, and that bar is right up against that EMA. So if that finishes bearish, I think it's likely going to come down from that bar. It may go a bit closer to this. Okay, that's actually touched there then, so that might be the the bar that takes us down. Could say that's a hidden second entry short. It's possible. The trouble is it's sideways. You could get another bar sideways on there. I mean, if we are coming down, it certainly touched that line, so that might be an option. But it could come a bit closer to this. I kind of like that bar actually, and if we get below here, and even here, I think that's going to be a quick push down, but it's just a bit too congested really for me to take any interest in that. Okay, so if you did take that, trigger just stopped you out. Market can be cruel sometimes, can't it? Just stops you out by one tick. Frustrating, isn't it? Trouble is, I suppose it's you take a weak position like that, and you know the signs there. Yeah, we've touched that. Yeah, it's bearish, but look, it's stuck right in the middle of that lot. So you just don't know, do you? It's looking like we're going to come down, but it's just where you decide to go short. Once we get below, I think that possibly, then we may then start pushing down a bit. Okay, so that's a second entry short, lower high. Let's see how that finishes. Still risky because it's in here, but it is a second entry short and it is a lower high. Obviously depending on how it finishes, but that may be the push down. It might not be a bad trade, that in all fairness. It is a second entry short and it's a lower high. I think that's the one that's going to send us down. That's my predicament. That's my prediction, sorry. I kind of like that bar, I do. As far as trading, if you're going to trade in congestion, For me, that would be the bar to do it. Lower high, second entry short, but same again, it is congested. And then obviously that lowers the risk. But it's about the nicest looking bar in that lot, in all fairness, so that's a good sign. If we get below there, then that for me is coming right down. If I had to pick one there, that would be the absolute one I would pick there. I kind of like that bar, actually. So there's your 2 points. Well, no, actually, a little bit more because it's right at the bottom. Now, what's going on here? Is that a long trap, or is it going to take out that stop? Here it is, look. So it just goes to show you, doesn't it? Even something that normally, if you didn't have a load of congestion, something like that would work, but just goes to show when it's congested, that's why it's always best staying out. You'd have got a 1.5 point out of it at a push. So we've come right sideways until we've touched it once, we've broken above it and come back down, and we've hit it again with a bearish bar. It is a second entry short and it is a lower high, but it just goes to show, because it's still congested, it can just mess you around. Best thing really is just to stay out of this. Same again. Look, if we're going sideways here, we've touched here, we've touched up here, we've touched down here. Look, it's bouncing at all different areas, just random areas. Is this a channel? Looks like it's a maybe we've touched here, touched here, touched here, touched here, and twice. That looks okay to me. Not only does it touch in the right places, it visually looks right. But obviously we're sideways, so you just never know where it's going to bounce. That might be it. Might push up, or it may have a break and it may come down. Trouble is, when it is sideways like this and it's quite bouncy, it's a bit all over the place, above the EMA, below the EMA, above it, below it. It just makes trading so much more difficult. We've all heard Matt talk about he loves trading ranges, just shorts the top and buys the bottom. But lately, when we're getting range days, it's very, very random where the tops are. So it's, obviously that takes real skill. Someone like Matt can trade, tops and bottoms like this, but I wouldn't even attempt to know where to get in there. That might have been an option, but apart from that, so this looks like a break. Are we going to get a new low? We get new lows a lot less than we used to. So many times now it'll mess around up here for a bit, looking like it's going low, trigger some longs, and all of a sudden woof, up it'll go and take out all the longs. Sorry, all the shorts, all the short stops. Okay, that I would class as a lower high. So we've had a bit of a breakout at lower high. Trouble is, we're back in this congestion again. Although I would say it's likely, if that's bearish, to come down, there's a stop it's going to hit there, so that might give it a nice push down. But same again, it's just congested and it just adds to the risk. It's not finishes bearish anyway, so that's by the by. But break, you'd usually expect a new low. Usually a lower high there might be the option. Okay. So you may even call that a sort of a triple test if you like. I've got once, twice, three times. That'd be a second entry short. See how bearish this finishes. So we've got a leg down, 2 attempts to go higher. It is a second entry short. You could say 1, 2, 3 triple test. Let's see how this finishes.
Order submitted.
Leg down, 2 attempts to go higher, second entry short. Trouble is the EMA is flat to pointing upwards slightly, so
Order cancelled.
So I'm guessing this is the new bottom, is it? Or is it this? That's the trouble with these days. You know, like Mac will say, range days are straightforward, short the tops, buy the bottoms. But where do you buy? Here? Where is the bottom? So if you have just joined us, if you notice the comments are off, I just disable them during the main trading period. I have them on for about the first 15 minutes and then I bring them back on for about the last 20 minutes, something like that, just so we can catch up. But it does help me focus on what I'm doing rather than, focusing on some of the comments. Because the comments can give you, so many people to say they think it's going up to here or down here, or that's a good second entry short, that's a good triple test. And sometimes it bombards your brains with loads of different ideas. Is it this? Is it that? And so I think it's better for everyone, to have that little bit of concentration period so you can focus just while you're trading, and then for the last 20 minutes I'll bring it back in. Okay, excuse me for just 2 minutes. I'm just going to put my fan on. I'm sweltering here. Okay, that's better. Right, are we pushing up? Who knows? The trouble is, you don't know after this. Yeah, I'm quite happy that it's working like a channel. But in all fairness, we are coming away from the side here. But usually when we have a break, we have a new low. Now, obviously, that's depending if we've got enough room in the bottom of the range, which we clearly have. That's if that is the bottom. But we have a push up. You just don't know. 1 minute it looks like it's going to push up, but next minute it looks like it's coming down. So it's hard to read at the moment. Is when you're hitting different levels, different bottom levels every time the market comes down, it's so hard to judge exactly where to go long from. Okay, so that does look like it's starting to work down for a new low. I am aware that there is now. I was just wondering whether there was anything slightly larger working there or not. Yeah, I'm not sure. Okay, so we've got a leg up, leg up. Nothing that's indicating looking bearish there really, and then we just sort of come straight through the EMA and there we go. See, there's a possibility we had a leg up. We could come back, bounce off the top of this and then continue to work higher. It's just hard to know. I've got to say, since I decided to go back to work Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I do feel like I've got a big weight lifted off my shoulders. I really do. I can concentrate now on building an account to a nice, comfortable, safe area where then I can comfortably take a wage. But $2,000, $2,500 is not it. You need to get it, I'd say, 3 times that. What you're comfortable with. Okay, so we've had a break out of this and we've had a new low. So whether we're going to continue down, I think it's lightly. I still think that's a possibility. We've got a leg down, sort of a push up, little bit of sideways, and another leg down. So that's a possibility that we make a new low for the day. But it's a little bit. See, we got this leg down. We got one. There's 3 pushes up there. You may have taken that one as a triple test. It is a second entry short, but trouble is, it's also going into the middle line. That's what makes it a little bit more scary. It's definitely, I get the fact that there's 3 pushes higher, but you've got to understand that there's a bit of congestion there as well. And that, if I took a short there and it bounced off here and pushed up, the answer to the question would be, well, you went short right into the middle line where it's clearly struggling to get through. So, but some may have taken that. It is a second entry short and it is a triple test, but it's a bit congested. But I don't know, to you it may be okay. And that's the thing, is there's no one size fits all. Everyone's got their own slight different judgment and slight different feel of a trade. Some people might jump straight onto that, and others might just be a bit cautious because it is going a little bit sideways. So I don't know about you guys in the US, but I'm starting to notice people, the odd person in a supermarket starting to wear masks again. So I don't know whether COVID is starting to make a little bit more of an apparent appearance at the moment. I thought we'd seen the last of that. But I kind of know it's going to be around for a while, but you think we're a little bit, a lot more prepared. But I am starting to hear stories that the numbers are climbing. I think in the UK at the moment we're getting around about 300 admissions. Did it say per day or per week? Sounds a lot per day, doesn't it? Into hospital, mainly I suppose the older folks, or the sort of slightly more vulnerable. Really, it's a shame really that the older folks get the rough end of this because when you get a bit older, life gets a bit tougher anyway, doesn't it? And they certainly got the worst end of the stick when COVID was at its prime. It was really sad, that was. And obviously people, with certain illnesses, cancers and stuff, it must have been absolutely terrifying. We went, about our life relatively, normally, obviously with the exception of following the rules and wearing the masks, but it must have been terrifying for people who have real illnesses that were really, really vulnerable. But yeah, I am starting to see the odd mask showing its face again. Okay, so it's still really a little bit unpredictable. Below the EMA, above it, below it, above it. There is a higher low there, which I don't think that's too bad, but am I expecting to come up here? I don't know, it's sideways at the moment. I don't know where it's going to go. It may just pop out the top and come back down, who knows. But as far as that type of higher low, I don't mind too much. It's when it sort of comes down here and you may take something like that. It's a little bit too far for me, but that is a couple of bars up. That's not too bad. Something like that would interest me, but I'm not sure whether we're going up or whether we're going to break above here and come back down. Things aren't very clear to me at the moment. So it is a higher low. The trouble is, it's triggered. Where has it triggered? No, it hasn't actually, is it? Where is it? No, it hasn't. I thought that's triggered and looked like it was coming down, but... So the trouble is, are we coming up to here, the midline here, up to the top? Not a clue. It's the kind of trade I kind of like. We have a leg up, a little bit of a pullback, and another leg up, which will probably take us up to here. It's the kind of trade I like, but I like to know what direction we're going in at the moment. And obviously with this up, down, I'm not really 100% sure. That higher low has triggered, so I would say it's likely gonna have another leg, maybe here. I incidentally had an email from Flowbots about Replicanto. Replicanto's going up from $150 to $200 at the end of September. Now, I still get the discount, the 20% off, but just be aware if it's something you're planning on getting at some point in the next month or two, it might be an option to get it. Now, I'm still going to get the 20% off, excuse me, but obviously it'll go up by $50 minus 20%, which is 10, so you'll still pay $40 more than you're paying now. That's right, is it? Or not? No, actually it doesn't make a difference, does it? It's a little bit more expensive, so you'll get a little tiny bit more off that extra $50, $5. Yeah, I think that's right. You'll pay about an extra $45 more. So if it is something you are considering in the next month or two, I think it was... Just look at the email. I'm surprised it's going up so much, actually. It's quite a chunk. Oh, no. Okay. Let's have a look. Flowbots. Here we go. Drag it in. There we go. 30th September it goes up. So Singer Machine is going up $149, $199. Now the extra, so it's basically going up $50. Now obviously I'll get 20% off the $50, which is $5. So you're still going to pay, all in all, round numbers, you're going to pay about $45 more. So just be aware of that if it is something you're thinking of doing in the next month or so. And obviously if you're going to trade multiple accounts, you're going to need some sort of, I absolutely would recommend this way more than Apex. And at the moment with the discount off, it's cheaper than Apex's ones, but when it goes up, it's not going to be. But just to make you aware, I've got a code down there, as you know, 20% off, which will take it down at the moment to $30 off. Take it down to $130 at the moment, so just be aware, 30th of September, that's going up in price. I absolutely recommend. Yes, I do get a commission off it. Doesn't cost you any more, but I do get a commission. But if I didn't recommend it, I wouldn't use it. And as you know, I use it myself. There it is. Replicanto by Flowbots. Most of you know I did use the Apex one for a couple of months, and I just had problem after problem. It was just unpredictable. Sometimes if I took a short and something didn't trigger and it would turn into a buy order, I've never had that problem. In fact, I think I only remember once having an order left after something triggered, but that's why I have, sorry, you can't see that bars. I have this to the side of me, so I always have that way. If you trade in multiple accounts, when they trigger, whether it's a stop or a take profit, you want to see that clear, because on the very rare occasion it can trigger some and not others. And I've only noticed that to happen once in the last probably 7 months, 5-6 months since I've had it. And if that's the case and you do see any, just right click and cancel all, and that will remove anything. So just make sure you have that orders tab. I have the orders and the positions tab there. Just make sure you've got one of them. And just make sure if you're trading, I don't know, 5 accounts, when they trigger, whether they hit your stop or hopefully they hit your take profit level, make sure that is clear. If it's not, right click and cancel all orders. And I've only had that happen once since I've been using Replicanto, and it just takes a second. Didn't make a difference. Just takes a second. So that to me looks like a slightly larger channel. I kind of like that with a break. The trouble is, are we going down or are we going up? At the moment, I'm not a clue. If you got any questions about Replicant or anything like that, I'm going to open the comments up for the last 30 minutes. What time is it now? So I'll open the comments up in about an hour, something like that. So if you've got any questions, or you can just find me a message or an email or messenger or whatever, or just I'll bring them on for the last 30 minutes. And if you've got any questions, just note them down then. So if I keep the comments on for the first 15 minutes and then bring them up for, say, the last 20 minutes, it'll give us time to have a bit of a chat. Sometimes people have got questions, you may get a few newbies. Okay, so we've got a leg up there. I kind of like that leg, fits nice. If you squeeze it together, it fits in there kind of nice. We've had a break. So, in most cases, we have a channel. We have a break, we had a channel, we had a break, and a new extreme. We had a channel, we had a break, and a new extreme. This one, depends how you're drawing it, but if you draw it from there to that first swing, then you could say that's a small break with a new extreme. Who knows? But I think it's likely we're going to push higher than this, but it is very choppy at the moment. So you've got to just make sure you get a nice setup here. So a proper 2 legs. So it could just come careering down. It's hard to say. So there is a possibility. You just got to keep it in mind. Although I've drawn that channel, it may just be that first part that might have been a break and a new high. But it does look like a leg. The way it's going sideways with a slight angle over to this side of it and pushing up again, I'd say that's for me. We touched here. We touched the back side, and then we sort of slipped across and then up again. So that for me, some people might not see that as one channel. I do, and it's made up of 2 legs. So it depends how you see that, whether you would take a setup if you get it here. But I don't think we're going to get the option. Okay, so prices held that bar at the EMA, above the EMA, so let's see what happens. We may push higher. If we get lower than this bar here, then I'd say probably no. So yeah, I have decided to get rid of bookmap and the 1,000 tick chart. Bookmap I didn't mind, but I just find it's not benefiting as much as I thought. In a good strong trend day, then maybe. And the 1,000 tick chart, I don't think it's bad, but I think it's better to trade either one or the other. I think it can be a little bit confusing trading the two at the same time, speaking personally. So I've decided just to focus on the 2,000 tick chart. But I think I had a message from Mark a while back saying, I was asking him a question about something. He said it's pretty natural as a newish trader to start looking for things. You know, people say this helps them, that helps them, and you know, you start looking for things, and it's okay. It's part of the natural progression. You look for things to make things a little bit easier, maybe to give you more confidence, or you know, just to give you an extra yes, you're thinking in the right direction. And he also said everyone finds their own slight style of trading. And, you know, some people, in my opinion, still scalp a point. I think the majority now probably go for 6 points, 6 to 2 points. I tend to go for the 2 points. But as I mentioned earlier, if we do get something like a lovely channel with a clear two-legged correction, and it's looking like another channel down, I may just take my profit down and slowly take my stop down and secure. See if I can get a little bit more. And yeah, that is going to mean I'm probably going to lose the odd one extra, but I think in the grand scheme of things, I think I'll probably do slightly better at slightly more profitable. But it's not everyone's cup of tea. Some people like to get out, and that's it. Excuse me a sec. I like a sort of a combination between a scalp and a runner, whereas I'll sort of move my profit down here, take profit, and once that drops so far and we have a bit of a pullback, then I'll bring my stop down. So effectively then I've secured myself a couple of points, and hopefully my take profits down here, I'm moving my stop down and securing bits more. So I'll only do that if we do end up having a trending day, or I do see something like a good strong trend with a couple of legs of correction, something quite obvious, then the chance of another leg is pretty high. So in that type of scenario, given the right setup, and it'll have to be a strong setup, then I may do that, drag my profit down and just try to secure bits. So I'm going to pop that like that. Because whether it's a bigger channel and it's just turned or not, I don't know. I think the safer option is to just go off those first few bars, because I think that's what you'd have normally done. Okay, so leg in a leg. Same again, it's quite hard to trade this because it's not very predictable. Sometimes markets are really easy to read. They're very predictable. We have a really clear leg, two legs of correction, another clear leg. But the days like this, sometimes they're just, you never quite know where they're going to go. Okay, let's see what... I think Mac's back today, isn't he? Yeah, I'm sure he is. Excuse me. No, nothing yet. Okay, I'm just going to take a quick few minute break. I'm just going to make myself a cup of coffee. I will be back. Oh, that didn't work very well, did it? Oh, there we go. Okay, 5 minutes. I'm just going to make a quick cup of coffee and I will be back. Okay, back. Cup of coffee in hand. Okay, so we got a leg down and a brake. Let's have a look at this. I'm not convinced that's enough of a brake. Let's put that like that. Hard to say, really. I think that looks like a channel. Trouble is, I actually like that bar where it is, in all fairness. But it is still only a first entry, but it's very bearish, and I love the way it is. So for me, excuse me, that's probably coming down, but it depends how you look at this, whether you think that's a break and a new low. In one sense it is, but I'm not how sure. I'm not convinced that is a break and a new low. It just depends how you see this, really. But if we can get a second entry or a lower high here, then I may get into that. We'll see. See what happens here, because if that's going to push up there, I'd say there's probably going to be some shorts there, so it might trap them. Okay, so let's just get an order ready.
Submitted.
Check it's working okay. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not convinced this is enough of a break, really, in all fairness. You may take that with the engulfing, actually. See how this bar finishes.
Order cancelled. Order submitted.
I'm going to take that on the engulfing. Oh, that's going to work anyway, is it? No, okay, let's get rid of that.
Order cancelled.
Needs to break above there, really. I'd say there's still going to be some shorts trapped there, so...
Order submitted.
If that comes bearish now and that stop holds, which it's probably not going to, then I may go short there, but no, it hasn't.
Order cancelled.
Yeah, it depends how you've drawn that. I mean, normally you go from there, but I see Mac sometimes going right from the actual touch of the bar. And in that case, if you go from that first toucher there, it kind of fits in, doesn't it? So it's a bit... that's what I mean. If I did get in there, it'd have to be a super attractive trade. But if you did take that one, it triggered you with a ticker 2 and then stopped you out. That's why you don't want to be taking a first entry, really, just in case. Same again, if you look at these areas, is that a bottom? Is that a bottom? It's so hard to judge these bottoms to make an informed decision of where to go long. Okay, leg and a leg. Let's see what's going on here. So there is a possibility you could say that's a break with a new low, but I'm not massively convinced. Leg, leg. See if we can get a lower high here. There's a possible failure there. Trouble is, one, it's a big bar, and two, in all fairness, it's a bit congested there, so that's a little bit risky. You can see that. We got a leg up there. Yeah, it's a bit risky. It may work, but it's a bit risky. That bar's 12 ticks, so it's 3 points already, and it hasn't finished yet. So whether anybody would have taken that or that, I'm not sure whether they would have done. Just thinking about going short, but trouble is if you go long there, I've taken these before and they trigger you and then come back down, and then you realise we're in a range. Yes, you can't do anything with that really. It's 15 ticks. Tick above it, tick below it, 16, 17 ticks. Just too much. Make trigger and come back down. So that midline is definitely playing a role, isn't it? You can see it there, you can see it there, you can see it along there, you can see it here. And just how that bar's finished. It's clearly playing a part. Okay, so that's the problem with trading these ranges. Is that the bottom? Is that the bottom? Is that the bottom? You just don't know until they turn. Where's the top? Is it there? Is it there? Is it here? Okay, so we've got a leg down there, made 2 attempts to go higher, then maybe we're coming down. So we have had a bigger leg down here, haven't we? 2 attempts to push higher. I think a lower high here might not be a terrible idea. Right, what's going on here? It's just so hard to judge where to short from, really. I mean, we've had a channel up, we've had a break, kind of a nice bearish bar, maybe back to the EMA, but you just don't know. You don't know when it's going to trigger you, and just keep pushing up because there's no, you know, I suppose that's maybe as close to as a top as we got. At least we've hit a few times there, but you just don't know, do you? No idea. It's quite slow today. There is a bit of volume, but not as much. I'm just wondering whether with this Labour weekend, whether there's any traders taking the extra day off. But it is a bit slow. Mind you, having said that, when it goes sideways like this, there's a little bit of uncertainty. We're going to go up. As we've had this leg down and these two attempts to go higher, I think it's likely we're going to continue down. That's just my thoughts. Whether I trade it or not is a different matter. But I mean, if you, for instance, you even if you watch the Penguin guy, that's the sort of thing he'd say. We had a leg down, made two attempts to go higher, failure. So he may take something like this, or he may let it push through the EMA first. But I'd say with two pushes up like that and it bounced off around about the same area, I think it's more likely it's going to continue. It's going to come down. But that's just my opinion. Obviously, like, you can't trade what you think, only really what you say. But sort of past experience, I'd say it's more likely to come down. But whatever, I wish it'd do it quickly. Okay, let's see if we bounce. Okay, so that blown my theory. 1, 2, 3, maybe a triple test. Not something I'm getting into, this triple test. So let's give it a see. Ah, here we are. Possibility. So he's got this coming down here, the same as me. But he's got that more steep, like that. Down to there. Okay, with a break and a new low. And this is the odd one. He's got a channel coming down to here somehow, like that. That's a bit odd, that. It's a bit of an odd one, that. He doesn't usually have them. That's that sort of, well, they're usually a lot steeper, and obviously we've pushed up, haven't made a new low, pushed up again, so not sure about that. Obviously he's here at the moment. Now it's pushed up a couple of times and gone higher. He may remove it, I don't know, but yeah, I suppose I get that. Break, new low. Yeah, it's been it's a bit of an odd. He doesn't usually do them that. Usually they're a lot steeper. It's unusual to do something like that. Especially not touching any of there, but here it's a bit strange. That one, bit of an odd one. Oh well. Okay, so possibly is something there working higher. Touch when I get something else really to confirm it, but it's sort of looks like that. So with a leg there and a leg, I'd say it's likely we're going to come up and retest this area up here. So we may get a decent, half decent looking top. At least something to short from in the future. Yeah, there is a. I mean, I did initially do one from here and here, but it makes it a bit strange, so I don't know whether it is. It's usually off those first main swings, which is there. Yeah, it's not the usual amount of volume today. There's definitely less volume, that's for certain. Considering main market's been open for about an hour and a half. Granted, when it goes sideways, obviously there's less volume. I mean, we're all sat here watching it, so if we are, I'd say mostly a lot of other people are as well. When we're getting trends and that, obviously there's a lot more buying and selling goes on, but when it's like this, it's a little bit hard to trade, really. I mean, you may have taken that one there. You may have taken that one as a failure. I don't know. But what was concerning me at the time is we'd had this push down. There is a possibility that we could have a couple of legs. It's a bit hard to say, really. But obviously there was that possibility we could come down. I mean, we touched here. So, but the trouble is we're sort of hitting different levels here, so it's hard to know exactly where the bottom is and whether we're likely to revisit this bottom eventually. Back down to where these lows were. There we go. Got the comments back on for a bit. I'm probably only going to do about another 20-30 minutes anyway, as I remember my daughter's birthday. So you can comment again now. Got them back on for a bit, so let's see what is anything you've seen there. It's a little bit choppy, really. There's a lot of ups and downs, isn't there? I don't know where you see the bottom of this, possibly something like that. I'm just putting it down there at the moment. Well, we've had two closures of the bodies. Maybe we'll get something off here, maybe a lower high after, so possible overshoot of that, depending on whether you see that as a channel or not. You've had nothing today. No, it's a bit, it's one of those days really, isn't it, where it's a little bit up and down, it's a little bit more unpredictable. What are we running with here? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 8, 20. So working between 20 points. But the trouble is, where do you go long? Do you go long there? it's hard to, really, isn't it? Because you don't know when it's going to trigger you and come back down. Do you go along there or there? Obviously, in hindsight, but you know, with this down here, it's hard to. Hey, Chris, how you doing, bud? With this down here, it's hard to sort of pick. I mean, really, you have to sort of assume this is at least initially the bottom, because this is the sort of a low of the day. So, you know, in a lot of cases with these range days, we sort of generally, you know, for the most part, hit there or somewhere close. But obviously, we haven't quite got close enough, so it's hard to know where to trade. There's a bit of an overshoot there, and you know, whether you think this is a channel or not, I don't think it's a bad channel. We've touched 3 times here, and it sort of looks a bit channel-ish. 0 for me. Yeah, it's not an exciting day, put it that way, is it? The volume is a little low, so whether any of the institutional guys are taking an extra day off, or whether because it's going sideways. I mean, if it's going sideways, if we're not trading it, most people won't, will they? So that's probably going to have something to do with why the volume's a little bit low, I'm assuming. Obviously, I'm a retail trader like you guys, so I've not... that's okay, actually. Okay, I kind of like that. We've got those 2 body touches there, and it's touching exactly the same price. I'm a retail trader like you guys, so I've not, you know, sort of been brought up in an environment in sort of any type of banking or investment or trading and business where obviously, you know, been taught the proper way. So you just sort of have to, you know, pick up little bits of knowledge and assume. But I don't know whether you see that as a channel or not. I kind of, part of me, that's probably a little bit better in all fairness. Yeah, that looks better to me. So are we going to push up? It's hard to say, really, isn't it? Touched here. I think we're probably likely going to come down and touch there. So actually, that looks a bit better. Just visually, it looks better. And you often see that as well. It pushes right along that middle line there. So are we going to bounce from here and come down? So I'm quite glad we've hit that in exactly the same place as there. So that's still the high of the day initially, but I do like the way we've bounced there. So at least that gives us a little bit of something. Excuse me a second, I just let my dog in. Oh, yeah, Lance, if you buy another batch of evals, if they do the 90%, or are you happy going slow? That's a good question, that, Chris. When I started with the 1 account, I was a lot more relaxed than when I had the 4 accounts. So there's 2 sides of the story there. I gave up work and have been living off what bits I've been making from trading, but I've obviously put myself under a bit of pressure, and that's what's caused a few hiccups. So I kind of like, so with these 2 accounts, if I can build these accounts up to, let's say I build these accounts up to, let's say for argument's sake, $8,000, quite a nice safety chunk there. So if I take $2,000 out of each, it still leaves me with 6. So let's say $6,000, 10% is $600, 5%. I'm risking around about 4.5% on a trade then, which, you know, when I started trading currency, you hear around about the 1 to 3%. But futures, I believe, is a bit different. And I've heard Daniel mention about 5%. Because we're taking high probability setups, we're going to win more as opposed to someone who may risk 1 and go for 2, and they may, you know, win 65% of the time. So I kind of like that 8,000. Now, if I can get to 8,000, take 2,000 out of each, that gives me enough then to comfortably live on $4,000 a month. And then I've got those 2 accounts up to a nice, comfortable level. So I think then is a time to start adding. So I may add 3 and build those up. But the beauty about those 3, I don't need to touch them because I'm earning $2,000 per month from those 2 accounts, which are nice and comfortable. So my personal thing is, start small and build up. Now, I've spoken to people like Nutty Bar Trader, really nice guy, and Wilson as well, same again, a lovely guy, and they've lost large amounts. I know Nutty messaged me after I lost mine. I think he said he lost 11 accounts a week before, and I know Wilson's lost 20 accounts. Now, that must be excruciating. I thought 4 accounts was bad, but what did I pay? $140 per account. That's $560. If you've got 20 accounts, you're paying $2,800 just to get those accounts. It's a lot of money. So I think you're better off starting slow and building up. I started with 1 account, and then I add 2 accounts, and then I grew those accounts to 4. But I think you need to get a couple of accounts. Actually, there's quite a nice setup there. Excuse me, but I think it's slightly risky because we're bouncing. It is a second entry long, there's no doubt about it, and it may continue to push up. But the trouble is, we're clearly going sideways, so you have to respect this. So I think that makes it a little bit more dangerous. But it is kind of a nice setup. If it finishes bullish, it'll sit on that line there. In fact, I can even dip that down a bit, really, because it's not touching. Okay, so is there enough to get out at the top? It may continue to push out, but in all fairness, I think that's a bit risky. There's not even a point to the top, in all fairness. So I'm going to have to leave this one alone. Yeah, it's and only that's a bit congested. It might push up through it. It might do. It pushes above this. It may give it a little bit of credence, but I'm staying out at the moment. Chris, sorry, mate. I think it's the way to go. Yeah. If you start off with too many accounts, there's too much pressure. I would say get a couple of accounts up to a nice safe level where you can start taking a nice little wage from, and then that pays your salary. So if you get 2 accounts up to $8,000 and you take $2,000 per account, you've got $4,000. Excuse me. Now, $4,000 for a month for someone who doesn't have to drive to work and you've not got any business overheads, you're sat at home, so you're not paying for lunch out and you're not driving to work, paying for fuel and all that sort of stuff. You may not be paying for breakdown cover or whatever. So $4,000 isn't a bad wage for someone who's staying at home. Now, if you can build those 2 accounts to $8,000, you take 2 from each, you're left with 6. You trade 2 contracts, you're risking about 4.5% per trade. Now, I believe from talking, I remember Daniel mentioned 5%. So you're in that comfort zone there where you can relax. And instead of worrying about the money, you can just concern yourself with focusing on the trades. Once you get lots of money worries, and, my wife said to me, she went, well, yeah, but you're always going to need to make wages. Well, that's true. But I'm trying to make wages when I've got those accounts extremely low and vulnerable. Once you get into that safe zone, so you've got a cushion and a little bit of protection, then you can relax a bit. So that's my plan. 2 accounts, get to $8,000, take $2,000 from each, trade for a month, take $2,000 from each of those 2 accounts. Then I can start adding more accounts and I haven't got to worry about making money. But yeah, I say start small. 2 is a nice number, because if you have a 2,000 from each, you can live off that. Okay, it's not bad money, that, really, in all fairness. So yeah, that's my plan. What went wrong with my 4 accounts, it's not that I wasn't capable of doing it, it's just I was expecting wages this month. And because I'd given up work, I was relying on it, and I felt the pressure when I was in trades, and that's what happened. I took 2 trades under pressure, ended up 700 down, so I'd lost nearly a third of my pot size. And that's the trouble when you first start trading with a 2,500 drawdown. You're risking quite a lot, in all fairness. You're risking about 10 or 12%. And once you get a little bit of capital and then build that account, that risk comes down. And obviously, the more you risk, the more stressful it is. You're risking 1%, there's not much stress at all there, because without doing something stupid, as long as you can trade, you're never going to blow an account risking 1%. So that's my plan, Chris. Yeah, I think it's a much better way. Every time you make a mistake, you've got to adjust and think, okay, what went wrong? How can I stop it happening again? And for me, it was clear. I've proved now I've had four payments. I've had three $2,000 payments and one $4,000. And I could have taken a bit more out of them, but I'm more concerned on making money, whereas I should be concerned on building a pot, because that's where it's okay having a bit of money here and there, but you want regular money, and the only way you're going to do that really is to build a proper trading pot. So strangely enough, I feel very relaxed trading now because I've made my plan. I'm going to follow my plan, and I don't need to worry about having to take any money out of these till they're suitably safe enough. So my honest opinion for newbies out there, now you guys know I get a commissions from the evaluation, but sod the commissions. They're nice to have, but I'd rather you focusing on your trading. Don't take massive multiple accounts. I'm not telling you what to do, it's up to you, but if you're quite new to it and you want to have a go, just take one account. If you blow it, you've only blown one, but if you've got 10 accounts and you're still making mistakes, you're risking it 10 times over. When you can manage to build an account, then get 2 or 3 and then build those up slowly, so at least you can take a bit out of them. But the trouble is, so many people take massive multiple accounts and all you're doing is copying one bad trade onto half a dozen others. So that's my opinion. From experience, I've put quite a bit of money into Apex. I think I've nearly got it back, or I'm about even with them. But you can put a lot of money into it. So I'd say if I'd have done something different this time, I'd have focused maybe on just one at a time. As soon as I managed to make that account, I started to grow too many. Instead of growing smaller, grow small, get yourself a nice little pot, pay yourself a nice monthly wage out of it, and then you can grow multiple accounts then without having to rely on those for income, and you can allow them to build nicely. And my plan, if you ask me what my plan is, my overall plan is to get to 20 accounts, but I never want to trade them together. I always want to split them into 2 pots of 10. So if something stupid happens or you make a mistake and something really goes wrong, you're still comfortable, you're backed up. I still go and tell from time to time. Yeah, everybody does, mate. You're not on your own there. It's a perfectly normal thing to do. Everything I've read, human beings act like that when something gets taken away. We panic and we worry and we do stuff without thinking. So don't worry about it, but the more times you make these mistakes, the more sick you feel. Sooner or later, like we can train a body, you can stick a skinny guy into a gym and in 3 years' time he'll walk out looking like a muscle buster. The body can be adapted, so can the mind as well. And when you get that same treatment day in, day out, your mind has adapted. You treat someone like shit day in, day out, they're going to start, you have the nicest person in the world. You treat them like shit day in, day out, they're going to change. So it's not just the body that can, be manipulated to change. You walk around in bare feet for a week, by the end of the week, you're going to have cuts and blisters all over your feet. You do that for 3 months in a row and you're going to be like one of the, the Indian guys walking around with bare feet all day long with big calluses on your feet. So the body and the mind can be adapted. And I believe you keep doing it. Once you get so much punishment, something changes and you think, I've had enough of this. And not only do you get used to it, but you just get sick of the pain, because the pain is all self-inflicted. And you'll only do something to yourself for so long before you'll just give up and go, I can't do it anymore. And you'll start to do things sensible. So nice and steady, nice and easy. With a plan, and try and follow that plan to the letter. I've had all sorts of stuff, plans and actions and strategies printed out all around my computer, and I have never paid much attention to them, to be fair. It's okay saying I'm following, rules and stuff and plans, but you generally have to follow them. And you've got to ask yourself in the cold light day without the stress, which is the right way to do it, and then, follow it. It's easy to say I'm going to give up drinking alcohol when you've just sunk 6 pints of beer. But yeah, I believe most people can do this. The only people I think that would struggle to trade are people who may have very addictive natures. If you've had problems with gambling in the past, where you've had, problems with it, then, you know, those type of people, they may find it a little bit harder. But for me, this is just a process, something you have to go through. I remember when I was a young lad, a buddy of mine went into the Royal Green Jackets, which is a British military regiment, and he had long hair at the time, spots all over his face, great big pot belly. He was about 17, couldn't get out of bed. He was the laziest sack of shit you've ever seen in your life. 9 months later, he came out, he was a completely different person. He was fit, active, mentally focused, took care of himself, cleaned himself properly, ironed his gear, up early in the morning, had no issues getting to work. So it's surprising how you can change, you know, given the right environment. So what are we doing here? Are we pushing back up or are we coming down? I've got no bloody clue, in all fairness. We have had a break and sort of a little double bottom there, but do you want to go along into that? I'm not saying it won't work. What I'd be looking for is 2 legs of correction. Then I'll be thinking about possibly going long, but I have a feeling it's going to be one of those days today. I did trade a bit yesterday, as you can see. I traded on a 500 tick yesterday. Excuse me, but volume was naff, to be honest with you. So I was just trading with one contract, just trying a few things out a little bit. But yeah, you're still going to. I mean, I had a sort of a brief conversation with the Canadian futures guy, and we all know he's done pretty well. He's earned quite a bit of money out of it. And he said he still finds it difficult sometimes. You still get that urge. But I think eventually that just you tend to just give up and just ignore it after a while. If you do find that urge that you think, it's surprising how strong that mind is, really. When you get that urge to revenge trade, it's so hard to let go of it. I think you'll get to a point where you'll allow yourself to get up and walk away. And I think that's, whenever I've had a bad day, the following day I always feel nice and clear. But at the time, you know, panic sets in, frustration, disbelief, and you have that urge just to jump in. Market's going down, sod it, let's just hit the sell button a couple of times. Let's hit it 3 or 4 times. If I'm down $500, if I trade 8 contracts or 10 contracts, I've only got to get 4 ticks and I've got my money back. I've done it many times, and then all of a sudden market turns around and just takes you out of the game, and it's disbelief. And after a while, you just get fed up with it and realise that you'll never beat the market. The only way you beat the market is with a sensible strategy and plan that you've played out and that you've learnt to do, and you've got to a level where you can sort of compete against the market. But battling it out of frustration, you're just never going to win. You can't go into a fight swinging your arms like a crazy man. You have to have a plan, you have to train, you have to work, you have to exercise, you have to, you know, practice. Even looking boxers, you see them go in the ring and beat the hell out of each other. They've got a game plan, they've got a plan. They know what they're doing. It's all discussed, you know, before the fight. What am I going to do? Who's this guy? Blah, blah, blah. So, you know, we go into most things in life with a plan, and obviously trading is no different. But out of pure frustration, if you find you are really frustrated and angry from the day before, sensible thing to do is just take a day off, because time does make a difference. You know, I remember the other day when my 4 accounts got blown, I had tears in my eyes, and that's the 3rd time I've ever had tears in my eyes in the 30 years I've been together with my wife. And I don't want to feel like that again. I messaged Mac after and said what happened, and he went, keep it in mind what that felt like. Remember what that felt like, and don't forget it. Because I said I felt a bit low. Can I have a few positive words from you? And he said exactly what I needed to hear. Don't worry about it. What you did is perfectly normal. It happens. Everyone blows accounts. But just remember what it feels like to lose those accounts. If you keep that feeling in your mind, you'll avoid it like the plague. Okay, we've been trading 2 hours. I've got a feeling we're going to end up with a nil poir today, so I might knock it on the head. Actually, it's my daughter's birthday today, so in fact, yeah, I'm going to do that. I'm going to finish early. So don't forget, guys, we've still got the 80% off. It finishes on the 12th, so you've still got a week. My code's down there, UKFT. If you use that, you'll get a discount, and I get a commission as well. Most of you guys know that, but I like to tell you. But I only do it because it doesn't cost you guys anything more. So if you use that code, you have done, it is appreciated. But that lasts until the 12th, so you've got another week. Now, I'd be interested to see what happens after that, because it's been 2 weeks, 2 or 3 weeks they had that 50% off, and I'm shocked they waited that long. So I don't know whether Apex are tightening up. I don't understand why, because I know for a fact they sell way more and make more money when the offers are, but there we go. So I appreciate your comments. It's kind of nice, actually. We have 15 minutes of chat first, then we disconnect the comments. That way everyone can get their head down and focus. The trouble is, when you got half a dozen people saying they think this is happening or that's happening, sometimes when you're reading them, it sort of confuses yourself. So if it's confusing me a bit, it's probably confusing some of you guys. So I think it's nice that we'll get rid of the comments after the first 15 minutes and we'll bring them back for the last 20 minutes, because I still like chatting with you guys. So there you go. So that's it for today. First day back. As I say, I did some trades yesterday with one contract. I was just trying some sort of different things, and hence I've got a bit anyway. So that all goes on to today's anyway, so it shows there. So there you go. So if you're keeping on trading, I hope you get a setup. Although I just don't know today. It seems like it's going to be one of those days up and down. But volume is a bit low, so there may be guys taking an extra day off, maybe, because we got the last push. Then we got what's it next? Thanksgiving next, and then it'll be Christmas. So there you go. So have a great evening. Stay safe all, and I will see you just before market opens tomorrow. Bye for now.